NVIDIA didn't do a damn thing off of earnings. But it's the morning, GDP just came out, and we're seeing a little bit of a move. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everyone? Jeremy Ritz here. Courage pays better than fear trading, and I expected a gap up on NVIDIA earnings. It did not happen. It dropped down, got bought back up, came off of its lows, and just kind of flatlined there. It was down, and the reason why, well, it was a double beat. They had record-setting sales, but the issues with China, the restrictions of the H20 sales impacted what could have been their profit. And Wall Street didn't like that. They also didn't like how they were slightly under the expectations for data center revenue, which was slight, it wasn't big. And had you factored in that those China sales, they would have had an additional $3 to $5 billion. Forward guidance is up, but really NVIDIA is being punished for this China nonsense. But here's the thing. The AI trade isn't done. If anything, Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, talked about how the demand for compute power is off the charts, that we're in an AI race, that we're going to continue to see this just new industrial revolution happening. And because of that, there is a strong chance that we see a recovery of NVIDIA rather quickly. And I said at the start here that GDP data came in, it's 836, and it came in positive. And so we're seeing that the economy is still holding in strong there. We're going to have to see how that impacts the rate probabilities for September. But we did see an initial pop in the markets. I'm recording this, obviously, so I can't see what's occurring right now. But it wouldn't be a shocker to see NVIDIA not only recover, but close higher today than it did yesterday and set new all-time highs. So we have to watch that, because remember, with earnings, and this is why they're so dangerous and risky to play, is the first move may not be the actual move, right? So we have to be aware of that. A lot of times we'll see tickers drop and then they'll rebound, and it may not even happen after hours or pre-market. It may happen during the actual regular market hours following the report. So we want to keep an eye on that and see what happens. But I'll say this, in terms of AI, we're still in the early innings of this, and there's a lot more upside left to this trade. Now, that doesn't mean there can't be short-term weakness. There absolutely can be, and we may see some of that today despite the pop-off of GDP. But anyone saying that this whole AI move is over is fooling themselves. Now, the one thing to keep in mind about NVIDIA is that right now, their biggest customers for their GPUs are your Amazons, your Metas, your Googles, Teslas, Microsoft. They're spending a ton of money, their CapEx, capital expenditures, on NVIDIA chips. The one thing that can derail this, but this won't happen anytime soon, you're looking at probably about 2 years down the road, but you do have some of these companies, Amazon in particular, and Microsoft, who are working on creating their own chips. They actually do have some of their own chips, but they're not at NVIDIA's level. NVIDIA is the industry standard, and that's the thing. If you want to be the best, you got to use the best, and that's where NVIDIA comes into play. But what we want to watch down the road, 2 years from now, are those chips competitive with NVIDIA, and are they less reliant on NVIDIA? And does an AMD make up ground and take some of that market share from NVIDIA? So the risks are there for the company, but they're a couple years out, right? And NVIDIA is still the king. And had that China weakness not been factored in to this report, we probably would have seen a massive move. So all this to say It's a great report by NVIDIA. But because they are the king, they are held to an expectation that is just insane, that no other company is held to. And because of that, if they're not absolutely perfect and smash all the numbers, smash forward guidance, and basically complete a Hail Mary in the end zone with no time left on the clock in the Super Bowl, they're going to get punished. And that's what we saw. But let's see if we finish the day green here on NVIDIA. And I may have a second driven episode recorded later today to kind of check in with what happened. But the initial response to that GDP was positive. Who knows? I could get finished recording this, put this up, and you're like, the hell, Jeremy? You said there was a pop. Now we're dumping, right? So that could happen, but the initial response is positive. But remember, like I said earlier about earnings, the initial move isn't always the move that sticks. So anyway, that's not the end of big data for this week. We're also going to get PCE on Friday, which is the Fed's preferred gauge of inflation. So let's check that out. And before I wrap up this video, I just want to ask a question as I'm building out content. Are there specific videos that you would like to see, topics that you would want me to cover? Was talking to Rachel yesterday, one of my coaching students, and I shared with her the Jerome Powell video that I did, kind of giving his background and his story, and just to educate everyone about who Papa P is. But are there other things that you want to see? A few months ago, I put out a poll on YouTube about video topics that you wanted me to record. One was looking at the Great Depression, so I do have one in the works for that. I do have some tickers that are kind of on the quiet radar to pay attention to, so I'm going to have something for that. I'm working on a Warren Buffett portfolio update. I have something there. But there's something in particular you want me to put together, just let me know down in the comments. And I'm asking for a favor today. If you're watching this, if you can give me a subscribe, if you can subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, that would be phenomenal. And I'll see you back here later today for another video. Make it a great day. Let's see, NVIDIA bulls, are you coming? Let's check it out.